Hi dear intended parents and our future clients. In today's video I want to tell you 10 things that you don't know about surrogacy. So maybe you heard something, maybe you read something, but this is from my experience and what I want to tell you about surrogacy actually. The first thing that you need to know is that the surrogate mother is not a poor person. She's not doing the surrogacy because she has nothing to eat or she has no money to buy something for her, like for every day. Usually surrogate mothers are married, they have her own husband, children, some home, maybe a rented apartment, and some of them they have their own houses and they have a job. They're middle class. They're not the poorest as it maybe some people think in general, that the surrogate mothers are just very poor people. No, we have, for example, surrogate mothers that are border control workers working on the border. We have people that are designers even. They do some really interesting job. But why such people go for surrogacy? Usually they want to make a full payment for a house, not taking a loan or go to bank for money. They understand that they can do this. They can carry a child for another couple and get the compensation for that, and to buy an apartment or house or car or make a renovation in their home. We had a surrogate mother that wanted to open a special house for dogs. I mean, that she wanted to make her own business, like a hotel for dogs, something really interesting. In general, what I want to tell you that this thing, people don't know that surrogate mothers are middle class, and they feel very bad that they ask some poor woman to carry a child for them. Actually, everything is very relative. For some people, 15,000 is a lot. For some people, 15,000 is a one-day limit. For example, for some shopping, so for every person it's very different. And when we talk about Ukraine, our salaries and prices for everything are much lower than in other countries. So when a USA citizen or Switzerland citizen is coming to Ukraine with their income, and they see the prices in restaurants, in shops, for renting, for apartments, they are pretty shocked because it's much lower, but it doesn't mean that the quality is different. In some ways, sometimes even better, like food, some services, even the apartments are much better in some way, like the middle class apartments. You have to come and see yourself. So the reality is that the surrogate mother is not a poor person. The second thing that I want to tell you about surrogacy is that the surrogate mother will not keep the baby. I receive many questions from intended parents, and this is the most popular question. Will the surrogate mother actually give us the baby? I have never met any surrogate mother that had any intention even to keep the baby. Not in the beginning of the program, not in the middle, and not in the end. The usual question from surrogate mother is, will the parents come and take the baby? So they want to give you the baby and get the compensation. This is the two-party agreement that gives benefits to both sides. So it's not her intention to keep the baby and not buying an apartment for their own children. Because every surrogate mother understands that this is not genetic child, that she's carrying in her body, helping to grow a human being for another couple, but not considering this baby as her own baby. So the third thing that I want you to know is that not every couple is approved for the program. I don't mean the legal part, like that you have to be married and have to meet the medical requirement for surrogacy in Ukraine. But also during the conversation, I track how you make the conversation, how you react, how you answer, what are your questions. And sometimes, really rarely, but I have to say no to a couple when they are acting aggressively, putting out their requests like they have already signed a contract. And like you can always tell when a couple is pushing on you too much. We want to be sure that a couple is taking the program seriously and will not put the process and the program under any risk. I think this is a good thing to do because it's not only about money and just sign a contract with everybody. Most of the couples are really nice. Usually we are going into a good direction, but sometimes you have to deal with a very negative people, and this is not only because they are in pain or struggling with infertility, but there are also such kind of people, and they are considered not safe for the whole process, because the whole process involves a high level of responsibility, of kindness to the surrogate mother, to people around or that are involved into the surrogacy program, the baby safety, and so on. So sometimes we really have to say no to some couples, but this is really rare, and it is really sad that some people are like this in very negative way. So we prefer that our couples are responsible, kind, adequate, and so on. And most of them luckily are like this. The fourth thing that I want you to know is that every couple has to have a medical reason to do surrogacy in Ukraine. It means that the wife has to prove that she cannot carry a baby herself, and that is not only her decision because she doesn't want to carry and overload her own health, but there must be a diagnosis that will put into risk her own health and the health of the future baby. Or it can be 4 embryo transfers without any result. So this is the 2 reasons, that a diagnosis and 4 embryo transfers with no result. This is what we have to prove to make the couple legal to enter the process of surrogacy in Ukraine. The fifth thing that I want you to know about surrogacy in Ukraine is that every surrogate mother has to have at least one healthy child to be a surrogate mother. So she has to present a birth certificate of her baby and a pediatrician opinion that the baby is healthy. Doing this, she proves that she already has her own child and it's healthy. And of course, if something happens with the surrogate mother during the surrogate pregnancy, she will not lose her ability to become a mother already, because she is a mother, she has already a child. So some way of protection of surrogate mother here. So the sixth thing that I want you to know is that you can have a surrogacy program in Ukraine legally, even if the surrogacy is banned in your own country, because the law is working for that country, like on that territory. If you go to other country like Ukraine, so you are making the surrogacy legal, like a legal process in Ukraine. And even after birth of the child, you will be able to be a legal parents, to be stated in the birth certificate, to make all the process through embassy and receive the passport and leave the country and legally live in your own country with the baby. The seventh thing that I want you to know is that surrogacy is not exploitation. A lot of people in communities for women rights, and they say that you cannot take a woman's body and use it, like using of body to make a baby. But here is the really important thing. When we say that we use a body, does it mean that this body has no own opinion, like own mind? Because every surrogate is doing this because of their own will, not because they're in a very poor financial situation. As I said in the very beginning, they're not poor people. And actually, we don't take into program poor people. We're looking through all their financial situation and the family situation, and every surrogate mother is writing a consent, a legal consent, that she's doing it from her own will, that she understands all of the risks, and it's not possible practically to force somebody to carry a baby. It's not even real. The exploitation is not here. It cannot be even called like this. The surrogacy process is very far from exploitation. People that think that surrogacy is exploitation of women, they probably have their own children, and they have given the birth to the baby by their own because they're healthy, and they have never struggled and faced infertility and that fear that you will not be able to be a mother. And when they will get into such situation, so suddenly surrogate mother will be good for them, I suppose, and they will be not exploiting them. But for some reason they think that somebody is exploiting poor surrogate mothers. That is such a stamp that has to be destroyed. Number 8, there is no payment to a surrogate mother. The money that a surrogate mother receives is a compensation. I will explain what is the compensation, for what they receive the compensation. Imagine that the surrogate mother is carrying a baby for 9 months. For that 9 months, she is like losing her time, because she's carrying a baby. She's concentrated on that activity. So it's compensation of her time. It's compensation of her health, because she's actually feeding the baby with her own body. This is a lot to do, actually. I would be surprised if some person would do it free of charge, without any compensation. Anyway, she needs to cover her food, to cover her time, to actually get some benefits from that. This is normal. Who will do something for totally free to a person that you don't even know? Maybe some millionaires can do that, but a surrogate mother are middle class. Number 9, approval of surrogate mother can last up to 4 months, from 3 to 4 months. What do I mean about saying approval? From the moment of request of a surrogate mother to be a surrogate and till the moment she's fully tested, fully approved by a psychologist, her background is checked. So actually, can you imagine how long a surrogate mother is being prepared for a program? How deep is the preparation? So because some 10 parents, they don't understand the full picture, how the surrogate mother is tested, how deeply she's tested. It looks like yesterday she requested and the next day she is a surrogate mother. It's absolutely not like this. There's a long, deep process of approval of a surrogate mother. Number 10 is a really important information. So intended parents have to understand that the surrogacy process is divided into different companies that do the different parts of the program. In our case, this is a medical part and a legal part, and also the logistics part. To organize the whole process requires many people experience how to proceed with this process. So the medical part is done by the fertility clinic, but only till the time of the embryo transfer. After the surrogate mother is pregnant, we take all the assistance for the surrogate mother. The agencies help the surrogate mother during her medical tests, her investigations during her pregnancy, during birth, during ultrasounds, during the documents process in the end. Basically, the legal part and the logistics part is the biggest part of the program, because the medical part is only done in the beginning in the fertility clinic, and nobody from the clinic is doing the logistics, nobody is doing the transportation, documents, nothing is done like that. So clinic is doing only the cultivation of embryos, the transfer of embryos, the stimulation for the egg donor, the stimulation of surrogate mother's endometrium, checking, medical tests, everything what is connected actually with the medical part. But the organizing of the first visit, all the logistics, all the connection between surrogate mother and parents, all the connection between clinic and agency, clinic and parents, clinic and surrogate mother, it's everything about the agency. So sometimes some people think that agency is taking money for nothing. I would say that the biggest part, that 80% of the program is doing the agency. So the last thing that I want you to know, that if you're going through an agency, when you pay money, you can be sure that the money are working on you. Like, it's not just wasting of money. It's really actually important to understand.